So you're going to be giving a public presentation. First, you're going to want to decide on a topic. It's a good idea to pick something that you're already familiar with or something that you'd like to learn a little more about. Most important thing, make sure it's something that you like.
Alright.
Boredom is catching.
Today I'm going to talk to you about how to make Rice Krispie treats.
If you think your presentation is about something lame, chances are your audience will think so too. But if you're excited about your topic,
How to teach your dog.
your presentation is going to be that much more interesting for the audience and fun for you. Your presentation should run between 3 and 15 minutes in length. Pick a title and a catchy opening line to grab the audience right from the start. Pay attention to time and you're off and running. Remember, your presentation can be about anything you can think of, but no matter what kind of presentation you decide to give, there are 3 main sections for you to cover. The introduction is where you introduce yourself and the subject of your presentation to the audience.
Alright, so who here has had Rice Krispie treats?
Give them an idea why you chose this topic, what it means to you, and what they can hope to learn through your demonstration. The body is also called the show and tell portion. If you're delivering a formal speech, this is where you give it. If you're dancing, now's the time to get those feet moving. If you're giving a demonstration or an illustrated talk, here's where you show the audience what you know. When planning out the body of a presentation, make sure you know the order that the steps of your demonstration follow, that you have every item you need when you need it, and make sure you know how to use it. If you're demonstrating how to make something that takes a long time, like food, it's a good idea to bring the item in stages to help speed you up. Public presentations are not allowed to endorse any brands, so make sure that you cover up the logos on your items. Also remember to keep your mess to a minimum, be able to clean up quickly, and if you have long hair, tie it back. Most importantly, make sure you can explain each step to your audience and keep things as simple as possible. Remember, this is a formal presentation, so try not to personalize things. What I mean is,
You should always use a black permanent marker when making your cue cards. Black permanent marker is the best choice for making cue cards.
see, if you don't use the word you'll do beautifully. Your entire presentation should build towards the summary. This is where you tie everything together. Don't introduce anything new at this point. Just clarify your message and what you hope that they've learned. Then, ask the audience if they have any questions.
Are there any questions?
Answer the audience's questions as best you can, and don't worry if you don't have an answer. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you're not sure. Just offer to find an answer to their question and get back to them. Once you've answered everyone's questions, thank your audience, and you're done. Now that you've seen what a presentation involves, let's give you an idea of what to expect on the day of the public presentation event. When you arrive at the venue, you'll find signs directing you to the registration table. When you check in, you'll be given your room assignment. Room numbers should be clearly marked, but if you're having trouble finding yours, find a 4-H staff member or a judge and they'll give you a hand. When you get to your room, find your host or hostess. If there's no host or hostess, find a judge. Let them know whether you'd rather go on sooner or later. Once you're all set, have a seat and wait your turn. Remember to be a good audience for the presenters before and after you. Don't talk to your neighbor or be any kind of distraction to the presenter. Sit quietly and pay attention. Remember, the person you're listening to put in as much work as you did. Who knows, you may find what they present just as interesting as what you worked on. If you do, feel free to ask questions at the end of the presentation. Now for some tips on how to make your presentation as great as possible. First, clothes. Your appearance will affect how your audience responds to you. If you look like you just rolled out of bed and grabbed the first outfit handy, they won't be impressed. Make sure you and your clothes are neat and clean. Look like you put some effort into your appearance. Remember, your outfit is part of your presentation, and it's all about putting your best foot forward. If you look like you take your presentation seriously, your audience will too. If your presentation uses props, or if you have to bring any kind of supplies, it's a good idea to bring things in boxes, just to keep everything together and organized. Try to use see-through bowls and containers whenever you can, so that your audience can clearly follow what you're doing. If you're going to be using anything that could get messy, it's a good idea to have a roll of paper towels and a bag for garbage nearby. Set any extra equipment or material aside, and arrange your materials so that your audience can see everything. Visual aids like posters and collages can help you get your point across, and will help your audience to absorb and better understand your topic. It's always smart to number the backs of your visual aids in order to make sure you show them in the right order. It's also a good idea to practice changing your visuals while giving your presentation. Try to blend your motions with your words, and your presentation becomes even more interesting. Make sure your visual aids are simple enough to follow at a glance, and that any lettering is big enough and dark enough to be seen from the back of the room. If your presentation uses DVD players, computers, or any kind of technology, make sure you know how to set it up and use it. Make sure your slideshows, videos, or music are queued up to the spot where you want to start before you begin presenting. Just in case your equipment doesn't work on the day, it's also a good idea to bring printouts of your slides or screenshots of your video to hand out to your audience. But don't let it bother you. Being able to bounce back from something going wrong is just as important as making sure it goes right. If your presentation involves clothing, consider bringing a collapsible garment rack so you can hang the clothes on it. If you made something, think about bringing a nice plate or tray on which you can display the item. And if possible, use a slant board or suspend a mirror. It'll help the audience follow along. All these things can help, but the most important part of your presentation is you. When you begin your presentation, stand up straight and tall. Smile and introduce yourself.
Alright, today I'm going to talk to you about how to make Rice Krispie treats.
Not quite like that.
Hello, my name is Aaron, and I will be teaching you how to make your dog do a high five.
You've got it. Make sure you look at the audience while you're presenting and make eye contact with audience members as frequently as you can. Sometimes it can be a little scary to look the people watching you in the eye, but if you don't make eye contact with the audience, it can be hard for them to connect with what you're saying.
Regular Rice Krispie treats, half cocoa Rice Krispies, mixed.
See? Much better. You've worked hard on this presentation. You owe it to yourself to captivate your audience. Notes can be a great way to make sure your presentation stays on track, but make sure that you don't just read off of them. It disconnects you from the audience, and it can lead you to mumbling, which makes it even harder to understand. With enough preparation, you'll know your subject inside and out, so an occasional glance at notes will be more than enough to keep you on track. Speak directly to your audience. Don't try to memorize. Just use the phrases that come to mind, and try to insert your own personal experiences.
Drizzle over. I personally like the drizzle. It looks a little bit nicer.
Remember to speak clearly and distinctly. Enunciating helps you in two ways. First, it helps the audience understand what you're saying. And secondly, it helps you avoid old verbal standbys like,
Let me think.
You're gonna wanna
Also, pay attention to your movements. Nervous movements can be distracting and make you look unprepared. Instead, practice to move specifically as you move through your presentation. For example, when moving between stories or examples, or emphasizing points. Be enthusiastic when you're presenting. You want the audience to learn what you're teaching, and excitement is infectious. If you picked a topic that you really love, most of your work's already done for you. One more thing. Sometimes goofs will happen. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we'll say the wrong thing or equipment won't work. The important thing is to just keep going. If something goes wrong during your presentation, apologize and explain what went wrong. If you've engaged your audience from the beginning, they won't hold it against you. If you just flub a word or two, just keep going. Depending on what they've decided, your judges might give you feedback right away, or only after everyone in your room has presented. Listen to their feedback and remember, nobody is trying to make you feel bad. Critique is a great way to improve, and the judges are just there to help you make your best even better. Once you've received the judges' feedback and everyone in your room has finished, you're done. Make sure that you leave quietly so that you don't disturb rooms where other presentations are still going on. Now, at some events, you may receive your ribbon right now. Others, there may be a recognition ceremony at the end of the event. Either way, you can be proud that you did your best. Remember, a lot of people can't do what you just did. Being a good presenter is a great talent to have, and the more you do it, the better at it you'll get. So, good luck! Now, go find a topic that you want to teach people about. Learn as much as you can, and practice, practice, practice. Thanks for watching!